All right, folks, we are back on this lovely Thursday, March 25th, shortly after 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Welcome on back here for our afternoon meeting. Let's get a quick sound check just to begin. Make sure everyone can hear me loud and clear. Should be good to go, but I actually was just commuting a moment ago. I went from the office back to my home office here in Huntington. Great to see Greg, Ken, Michael, all of us live inside the trading room. At least could hear me loud and clear. Perfect. Great to see all of us rejoining us here from social media, Facebook Live, and YouTube. Without further ado, let's hop right into the action here. You happen to see 10-cent music still dropping off. We were following them heading into the afternoon yesterday. We were seeing them make pretty much this exact type of downtrend, this type of drop-off heading into the afternoon, and it ended up breaking down a little bit more heading into the close. So easy enough. We're just going to put 10-cent TME. Otherwise, we'll probably nickname it, abbreviate it as time. But yeah, heading into the afternoon, it seems like a little choppy around that 21. Doesn't seem like a whole lot of volume's been filled there comparative to what we've seen from earlier throughout the morning or heading into the early afternoon. But with that in mind, should this happen to break lower, perhaps from like a 2090, maybe even like a 2085, we'll take a look at the bottoms here. But, otherwise, if it breaks below here, yeah, 85. Once it breaks below this dip point, you could try and look for another opportunity for a short. But, otherwise, if it's not going to break any lower, perhaps after dropping off as much as it has from 32, 31 bucks yesterday, all the way down 10 points lower, perhaps we're going to see the dead cat bounce. So TME easy enough just for us to put on our watch list for the afternoon, given the volatility. I'd say the same thing with IQ, right? I mean, we ended up seeing IQ break lower heading into yesterday afternoon. We ended up seeing them drop off a little bit after the market opened up this morning. So needless to be said, much like with TME, the IQ will just easy enough just slip on our watch list for this close. This is pretty much making the same move, almost at the exact same price, I think. But yeah, again, same thing. Just look to see if they both break lower, if we happen to see more volume getting filled off the bid heading into the afternoon. So yeah, we'll start with those two to put on our watch list. I want to jump into a couple of the movers that we ended up catching from this morning. I don't have class today, so we don't have to just do a lightning round edition. I have a little time here. So let's talk about Riot. Let's talk about Mara. Bitcoin, of course, with it. We ended up seeing Bitcoin take a big drop going into this morning, more so like kind of overnight heading into the pre-market hours. So while I kind of talk about Riot, I'm going to load up the Bitcoin chart here, and I'll kind of show it for all of us here live. But, the Riot trade, much like, the market here heading into the early afternoon, we ended up seeing Riot make a strong dead cat bounce, a squeeze back up, but honestly, hey, much like you see here, right after the market opened, we ended up seeing a nice recovery on Bitcoin, nice recovery on Riot and Mara at the time. Since, though, Bitcoin's been pulling back, I think. Let me just take a look at the chart here. I'll drag it up right now. Let's see if I can do this. Come on. There we go. All right, so I don't have my EMAs up this time, but you could see heading into the market open, this was our big drop-off that we had on Bitcoin from like 52.5, 53, all the way down towards 50,500 here, this bottom. And, for right now, squeezing back up, I should say, pretty nicely here. So for the close, perhaps we'll see continuation on trades like Riot, trades like Mara, trades like Can. I think that was the best one of them all. So I just wanted to quickly show the Bitcoin chart just to show the move that we caught on Riot, at least across the day. And yeah, for right now, it's not making as sharp of a move up just yet, but Riot trying to get back up towards 46. Let's look at Canon, CAN. This is not making the same type of move here, or at least just yet. We ended up seeing this make a pretty sharp squeeze up, definitely better run up comparative to the others heading into the late morning, the early afternoon there, right around 1 p.m. Eastern time. It topped off roughly around 1850 and came back down. So we love trading Can, especially when Bitcoin's making a big move up or big move down. It's easy to borrow from TradeStation. For right now, I'll keep this on the side. If we don't really have too many stocks to focus on just yet heading into the close, then I'll probably slip that on our main list. But, hey, if you do well on Can day over day, or, even trade over trade, if you nail this Can trade, for the most part, I'm sure you're going to keep a better eye on it, for the close. All right. So with the market as wonky as it was, at least from earlier today, we ended up seeing some stocks go with the market, but it took a long while for us to find confidence on that run up. So for instance, really quick, we'll jump to AMC. AMC ended up making a huge pop right out of the gate once the market opened up this morning. And, Fausto brought up a very interesting comment, and I noticed it from my end right away. On our level 4 program, as we would nickname Bookmap, it almost seemed as if it was just like algo driven, AMC, and not just AMC, like pretty much every stock that I personally was looking at on Bookmap. It provided a different pattern, different look, and not as easy to read. So right off the market open, we ended up seeing AMC make this big pop and then pulled back. And of course, it ran up after. But it took myself and a few of our traders in our room a long while to find confidence on this squeeze here to begin. So, really it took the second breakout over resistance off of 10. You can see first where it ended up running up towards 10. It broke over the level. Big buying coming in from the price, but the false breakout as it shook back down. It's to say if it re-breaks above that resistance and we see it, make a stronger push, then it's more likely to see it make the run that you were initially expecting at first. So practically off the third attempt, I mean, this being the second, then the final crack here, once it re-broke that 10 level, off and running she went. So that's where we ended up making our money on this AMC trade for the most part. For the close, it's pretty shaky, pretty choppy in a tight range. Not really too much to write home about there. So, AMC, good side list stock, probably for tomorrow and next week or so forth. If it ends up popping, then we'll call it out. But we'll see what else is out there, folks. What we'll do from right now is at least go from top to bottom. We'll take some time on some stocks that we ended up trading from the morning, APOP being one of them, but we'll go into that pretty briefly here. The SEMR trade is our top percent gainer to begin. I guess a new IPO. That's why I guess here it's showing 131%. Here it says not applicable. So yeah, new IPO. You could just tell based off the daily chart. There's no other data aside from this one bar. Just really no volume on the book to work off of as well. So we do like trading IPOs here, especially the ones that have a lot more liquidity to read off of. But yeah, for right now, we're going to pass on this. Maybe, keep it on your radar for next week or tomorrow. But CLRBZ, like just easy to say, a pump and dump type of play, ended up popping real early in the pre-market off 6:30 Eastern time. It's just to say, like, what's the trend of the stock going into the market open? And I know it's up percentage-wise, but that wasn't the question. What's the trend of the stock leading into the market open? Generally, off this run-up, it was tailing off. So if it's not going to make a sudden breakout, then it's just you're wasting your time. So we'll kind of go over a couple of stocks here that was like this, but it didn't totally dump off. They would run. So the APOP actually we'll get to now, and this was one of them. So it's to say, well, what's the trend of this stock leading into the market open? Off the highs, clearly down. But, it was coming off of good news. It took a long while for this to kind of materialize. It took the first 15 minutes of the market open. So you don't want to watch the grass grow on a trade like this because you're going to miss opportunity elsewhere. Of course, if you ended up watching this the whole time here, it ended up paying off relatively quick. It ended up popping right away or shortly after, and then ended up dying off the false breakout from 7. Once this thing ended up topping off around 7, the pop and drop, from there, it ended up diving off. Really quickly, just I see from Carol live inside our trading room saying you are coming through on the Trader's Edge. Can Fausto do something? So keep in mind, I'm being broadcast on our YouTube stream and across the trading room. You might have the Cyber Expo running on another web browser, Carol. If that's the case, then you either mute one or the other. That happens at times, not too often. But with the Cyber Expo event going on right now, if you have that up on a different web browser live right now, then yeah, you're going to get the double talk. All right, so we'll be done with this meeting very shortly. Perhaps with that, I kind of go quick, right? But nonetheless, APOP heading into the afternoon. You've seen this type of stock all the time, and I'll just say that. PRQR. This ended up making a nice run up, kind of flew under the radar, kind of low volume squeeze after the market opened, but ended up making this huge breakout off of 750, ended up running all the way up towards over 9, and at least for right now, same to be said with this as it was with the APOP. There's not a whole lot going on here, really. If you could short it, that would be the better bet. All right, so we have the cost trade here, one of those Reddit stocks that squeezed going back into the end of January, early February here, right? And there we go, number 7, GameStop, right? Great segue, at least seeing GameStop squeeze up this morning. I knew that GameStop had earnings back from yesterday morning, or I think it was even from Tuesday afternoon. We ended up seeing them drop off. So ended up running up pretty nicely. Perhaps that's the reason as to why AMC lifted up as nicely as it did. I'll tell you, if GameStop ends up making a strong breakout higher into the close, then I would definitely keep a good eye on AMC. So maybe I'll slip AMC on like the side list for right now. Still pretty slow. That's all speculative, but interesting to see GameStop still like kind of strong where it's at towards its highs. This ODT trade I took a loss on earlier today. This stock we ended up following from last week. It was down 85+%. I forgot what the news was at the time. But we were looking for a squeeze up. I missed the morning move. I think we all did. I mean, we were trading a few other stocks. So this one ended up kind of like falling or kind of being a little bit behind the radar, a little kind of hidden there. Ended up squeezing up pretty nicely heading into the early afternoon up towards 2:30 or 2 o'clock. But I ended up trying to jump in on this trade earlier here. So at the time, and you could just see the big spike of volume. I'm talking about this one right here. We ended up seeing a lot of buying coming in off the 375 price. So right off this breakout here, I waited. And then once it re-popped up towards 375, I jumped in. I felt great with the entry, but just if it's not going to make that big pop after, provided how down it was or how down it's still from the top here, I would anticipate a nice squeeze, a nice dead cat bounce or short squeeze. Either way, I mean both could be kind of said here, but nonetheless, it didn't break higher. I ended up taking a 7-cent loss on this trade. I think I got out at like 367 or 368. Ended up dropping off pretty quickly after. Keep it in mind for tomorrow. It ended up making a second run back up at least here, but died off. So, hey, maybe even today, but I'm not just going to put this on our list yet. We'll see if there's anything else looking better. Not the CIDM here, I'll tell you that much. Kind of dropped off after the market opened up. Maybe ZOM. It's trying to creep back up there right now. The only issue on this trade, and this is the part that I would say is great, but the stock has almost like too much liquidity on the book for it to break through and fill in order for it to make a sharper move. So yeah, you could trade a lot of shares of it, but I wouldn't look for like 30 cents, 50 cents per share. Maybe I come back to if it ends up making a sudden pop, but again, I'm not going to expect it. Seal at the highs of the day right now, pretty close to it at least. This stock we ended up trading like 2.5, 3 weeks ago. I think it was off of some news of like a firm providing some crazy price target. If I'm not mistaken, I think they were talking about like a $15 or like $20 price target, something like that on the Seal trade. So it ended up making a pop, but then ended up dying off after we took our eyes off it shortly after that. And at least for right now today, it's kind of near the highs. So it's up 12.5% almost. Doesn't really seem like there is like a huge resistance on the ass to work with up until 450. I'll give this a look. It's not really trading a whole lot of volume per minute, but with hopes of this breaking higher into the close here, making another run like it did back on this day. We'll see. All right, let's see what else we got here, folks. Just know they're real familiar names that I'm checking out on the gainer side. Mankind, maybe. Kind of skipped over this as I jumped to Seal. This is actually making a decent little push. Not as much volume on the book for this to break through right now as well. It's like as slow as the ZOM, but just looking at level 3, it doesn't really require like a 50,000 share order to get broken through or a 75,000 share order to get broken through in order for it to move up, right? We go back to MNKD. It's at the highs of the day. It's like about like 2,000, 2,300 shares on the ask at 364. And, I mean, maybe from there was like 7,000 shares almost, 6,800 at 367. But, for right now, I don't mind giving this a look too. The Mankind stock. I always say this. I joke around when I say this too. But, I'm sure Fausto's listening. He would probably fire me if I didn't put this on the list. It's his favorite like level 1 stock. He loves finding Mankind when it's up big, like near the highs of the day heading into the close. I joke around when I say he's going to fire me. He's not. But, this is like a no-brainer in my opinion to put on our list. Hopefully it makes the big pop that you would anticipate, but we'll see. I'll tell you what, really quickly. I mean, the chart looks good. It's like kind of thin on the order book. I actually meant to click another stock. I think my scan like kind of jumped on me there as I went to click a different trade, and I accidentally clicked this ICPT. It's actually at the high of the day. Doesn't look bad as far as the chart, but the volume traded per minute's so light, and it's pretty thin volume on the book as well. Nice push, though. All right, what was the one I was going to click, though? And now I just like lost the stock I was trying to click on now at this point. I may just jump over to the losers list. I don't think this was going to be it, but the Vuzi stock is also one we're pretty familiar with, at least. Not really a whole lot to write home about there. All right, we'll jump over to the losers list. Folks, this goes across the board for all of us live inside the trading room, all of us on social media. If there's any other stocks that you find that's up big, that are moving really well right now that you want me to take a look at, then just type it in the chat board. Let me know. Get to you in just a second after I finish up this side. Not really a whole lot of stocks from the losers end that look that great. I mean, Rite Aid shortable, it's down 20+%. So I was definitely going to click this, but not a whole lot really going on here. It's like trading within this like channel here. It's like wedge pattern almost. I mean, obviously, we started off with Time, or Tencent, I should say, and IQ. Those are already on our list. LIVX, I'd said this the last couple of days. This stock is, nice and tradable. It's not really like making the fastest move. It's steady, but I don't feel a need to put this on our watch list. All right, folks, if there's anything that you see, I'm going to look at the chat board right now, so let me know. From Ken Hall of Fame, you got from Michael saying hi the day on the SOS. All right, so I'll go from bottom to top here. SOS is at the high of the day. I certainly wouldn't have found it on the gainers side. It's only up like 0.2%, but hey, that's why I say let me know. SOS making a sharp move up at the high of the day right now. We had this on our watch list from yesterday. Ended up making essentially a pump and dump, and ended up breaking lower, as you could see this morning. But yeah, this is a great call. I like this. Like it a lot. All right, Ken calling out Hall of Fame here too. I do like Hall of Fame given the range that this stock has had the last week, right? So it would be hard for me to not put this on our list. It's down 8%. It's squeezing back up pretty nicely here. So perhaps there is a chance to see this make the type of move that SOS is making right now. So, hey, like I said before, we don't really have too many stocks on our watch list right now. So I'll add the Hall of Fame for the meantime. Jump back to some side list stocks I can. Guess from the 2:30 meeting, pretty much from the 2:30 meeting, this thing's been squeezing up pretty nicely. So it has made the run back up, as we've seen with Riot and Bitcoin so far collectively. Right? So you know what? I might just slip Can on our list, given it's the cheaper one. It definitely has the most liquidity on the book. Perhaps even an EBON. EBON even more, perhaps. It's, down 2%, but it's making that exact type of move. It hasn't broken high of the day just yet, but yeah, I don't mind adding now Can and the EBON trade. If you trade Riot day to day, then I'm sure you're going to focus on that regardless. All right, folks. So I think that just about does it from my end here. I'm going to check Benzinga Pro actually here to see if there's anything else I missed, but we got Archon breaking high of the day right now, up 13%. Ooh, big spike right now on this. We ended up trading this from yesterday and back from Tuesday's trading. I don't know what the hell's going on right now. I don't know if this just got halted or what. That's a pretty funky pop. Only trading 1.8 billion shares today. It was trading 6 million, 5 million yesterday. Let me just take a quick look. Yeah, Greg says right now in the chat board here, Archon just got halted. Yeah, that does not look like a volatility halt, though, Greg. It's not even popping up on the Benzinga Pro newsfeed just yet, probably on their signals page, but give me a quick sec here. That's a pretty crazy halt just to make. I mean, it popped 50, 60 cents almost. Yeah, they're labeling it as a volatility pause, LUDP. Yeah. All right. Interesting, though. I mean, it was trading pretty light volume, and then we saw this big spike. You know what? I'll add it to our watch list. I said it yesterday. I'll say it today. That's why we call it a watch list. If this ends up crapping back down and providing no other opportunity to buy, then we'll just dump it off our list and move on to something else. All right. But we are familiar with this stock. We'll give it a chance here. We'll see what this, pop and halt's all about and go from there. All right, folks. So the last one here I was going to check out, maybe AMC. I think I had that on my side list there. Ooh, look at this popping back up nicely, making the squeeze up to 11. All right, let's check out GameStop. There we go. All right, so that's why we have a side list. So we're going to put AMC on our main list now. And I think in total, that's going to make how many? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 stocks total heading into the close. I felt did a pretty good job there. Put too many stocks on the list. All right, folks, so that just about does it for me. I want to actually welcome on aboard, actually, 2 of our newest students to Cyber Trading University, 2 of our newest Gold students. First, I want to welcome Kenton P. joining us from Florida. And then alongside him, I believe we have Kevin K. joining us from Lafayette, Louisiana. Ooh, I know, I don't know, but Dustin Poirier, MMA fighter, UFC fighter, big celebrity from Lafayette, Louisiana. It's a quick little tip right there. Welcome aboard, Kevin. Welcome aboard, Kenton. And alongside them, all of our trial members, if you're still interested in learning more about Cyber Trading University, first and foremost, make sure that you talk to your education advisor. I always say for our folks on social media, make sure that you like, subscribe, notify right on our YouTube channel. But as a trial member live inside our trading room, if you've yet to speak to one of our education advisors, you're not doing yourself any favors, because they're here to help and kind of explain why we're making the call outs that we're making, how our students who are currently enrolled in our program, just like Kenton and Kevin currently are right now, how they are able to go through the classes and better know why we're doing everything that we're doing here. All right, so outside of that, if you're interested in learning more, just go right down to the link. Go down to the link down on the banner below to sign up for our trial. And then outside of that, I look forward to speaking with you folks coming up later on today. I'll be back on the mic at 3:30 Eastern time. Take care.